Hey y'all, happy Saturday. I'm coming from you. I'm coming to you from Saturday 19th, today before Easter. I don't know what the hell is today. Yep, the 19th. So I have the morning. I have some time. My husband has gone to buy a wheelbarrow. Yes, I know that's very southern of me. But he can't decide what he wants. He can't decide if he wants one he pulls behind his ride on lawnmower. He can't decide if he wants a wagon. He can't decide if he wants an old barrel that's just, old fashioned with the wheel. Like he can't. So he went to go look, and I'm going to let him do that. And I ain't got nothing to say. I said, buy the barrel you want, because what the hell am I going to say? Look what I do for a hobby. Look what I do for a hobby. I can't say nothing. In full disclosure, I may have searched the house for my Franklin Covey compact inserts. You know what? He did a really good job hiding them this time. Good for him. Kind of broke the disconnect because I was halfway through looking for them and I was like, Barry, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? It has nothing to do with wanting to be in that size. Because when I get in it, I don't want it. It has everything to do with the dopamine is setting it up. So I thought I'd set my own dopamine and make like a video. If you want to stick around for that crazy, be my guest. Be my guest, be my guest. Yes, I'll also break out into things. Listen, if you're new here, I have ADD, ADHD, depression, anxiety, little OCD thrown in there. Some trauma. Like, I'm neurospicy to the hilt. And, yeah, you just never know what you're going to get with me. So that's why I say, welcome to the hot mess. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, you are well aware. So today we're going to talk about, well, I'm going to be in my planner. I'm going to do a little planning for next week. I have most of it set up. I went crazy and kind of went ahead and decorated and like changed up my layout, did all the things. And hold on. Sorry, I had the back door open and I saw my mom's dog walk by and she's in the bed. I know she's not watching her, so I think she's just wandering around the backyard, which is fine. It's fenced in. She can't get out. But I was just like, what you doing, old lady? She's very old. She's like 17 or something. And is batshit crazy as the rest of us. So anyway, so I thought I'd create some dopamine by playing around with my own planner. This should be in personal inserts. If you're new, I'm in an undyed Amica because it gives me extra strap room, and she's super chunky and I can't get into my undyed Gillio, and I had the opportunity to adopt her, and I was like, you know what, I saw an undyed pocket the other day somebody was selling. I almost bought her. I almost bought it because, I just want all the undyed. I want it all. I just want it all. Yeah, so we're going to cover, my daughter. So we're going to cover several things today. Okay, well, actually, that was my husband. He bought the one that went behind his lawnmower. Mystery solved. That was a quicker decision than I thought it was going to be. But he's going to be playing with that for a while. So if you hear noises in the background, it's him putting it together and attaching it to his lawnmower. So anyway, like I said, neurospicy. So, yeah, so I thought I'd create some dopamine and play in my planner. And today's topic, while I play with my planner, because I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do some planning. I don't have a lot to do, but I do have some. While I'm playing in my planner, I wanted to, and you're going to have to, sorry for my voice, but I have horrible allergies. Like, they turned on like Thursday or Friday, and it was just, they have not turned off. The allergies have been crazy, but we in the middle of what we call Pollinageddon. Every year, the first couple of bouts of spring, it's been warm long enough that the plants just like, oh yes, it's our season. Anywho, but I'm going to address how to start planning. Now, this can be a couple of things. It can be how to start from the beginning. I also address some things with like planner hopping. I also address some things with like planning in general, knowing your style of planning, and a couple other things. So this could be for you newbies, because it's amazing, you know, like I'm not a very old channel, and I'm a very small channel. Like I'm a little, like a drop in a very big bucket of planning with people with like thousands of followers. I mean, like tens of thousands of followers, 100,000 followers, 500,000 followers. I ain't that. So how you found me and have never been in planning, I'm not quite sure, because I'm very, very low on the totem pole. But it always seems, it never fails, that I get comments or I get questions or I get DMs over on Instagram on how to start planning. And I never have a good way of saying it, because I've been planning since I was like in high school or before, when they first give you that little planner. But like my grandmother and my mom always had one of those little booklets, like a little monthly booklet that you wrote things in, and I always wanted one, so they always bought me one, and I always had one of those. And like I remember my grandmother like having a steno pad with like the coil at the top, that she would just make plans for her weekend and then make out lists, groceries, visits, like Christmas planning, Easter planning, all these things that she planned. She would just make lists and lists, and she had stacks of them. And I remember that, and I remember like spring cleaning and like having to go to her steno pad, her going around with her little steno pad and knowing everything she was going to get done. I remember her planning like painting the walls, like when they painted, because she would like paint once a year. It did not help that they were 2-pack-a-day smokers, but I digress. That's why I have asthma. But like I remember her going through, and like she had like paint samples stuck to her little pieces of paper. Like I remember planning that far back, that I always did it. So this is years and years and years of planning, decades of planning. So I don't follow any rules. I say all that to say I don't follow any rules. I am not a productivity guru. Please go find somebody else that's going to teach you how to plan great. I am horribly neurospicy, so this may sound crazy to you. So I give that as a caveat to all I'm about to say, right? Okay, so we've said that. All right. So let's start with, I had to stretch. Okay, so let's start with, so you want to plan. Or you're trying to find a new size, or you're wanting to planner hop. Here are some of my tips. Again, please go find somebody that is an expert in this. I'll link a couple of channels down below, but like David Allen, GTD, I highly recommend that book if you've never like planned before. Like there's a couple other channels. Anywho, Franklin Covey, they have systems that are set up. Mine's just a mess crazy. All right, so you want to plan. So my first tip to anybody that wants to planner hop, do whatever. If you want to be in a planner, I don't care how old or how new you are, have one source of truth. What does that mean? I need you to have one source of truth. I don't care, because appointments, events, things in your life that have to get done. Those are scheduled things. Those are time-bound things. Those things have to get done. I don't care what system you use. I don't care if it's GDT, Franklin Covey, journaling. You are a human on this earth. You have to get some things done. Now, may they be a little, may they be a lot. It's enough. You have to get things done, and those things are usually time-bound. Those are the things that are your non-negotiables, right? You have doctor's appointments, you have family events, you have birthdays that you have to acknowledge. You have, I mean, I don't care if you're retired or you work or you, whatever your source in life, your place in life at this time, you have shit that has to get done. Your taxes have to be paid, right? If you don't have to do anything but die and pay taxes, those are your two constants. Okay? So, like, get you a source of truth. Now, it doesn't matter what that truth is. For me, my truth is my Google Calendar on my phone. Why? Because I am hooked into 8 other people. My family shares a calendar, their iCalendar. I have, it's not Google, it's iCalendar, it's iCal, I have an iPhone, but we all have iPhones, we all have a synced family calendar. I have beat it into my children's heads. If it is not on the calendar, it does not exist. And even as they get older, yes, that's what's happening. I do have one calendar on the wall also, that my oldest puts in, like my granddaughter. She's my one Google Samsung rogue child. She puts appointments for the kids on that calendar, and then I go in and download them into the iCal. She texts me. I am her text person, that when she's at a doctor's appointment, she texts it to me, and then I put it in the iCal. And so, like, we have a way of working it out, but my one source of truth is my iCal on my phone. If I don't have anything else, if I have that calendar, I can make it to my events, my appointments. I know what's coming up. I can tell people, hey, can you come here the 18th? No, I can't. I have this. So it doesn't have to be that. It can be one of those little booklets from Walmart that's $1 that you write everything in. It doesn't matter what it is. But have one source of truth in your life that your brain can trust, that if I go here, I'm going to know everything's happening with my life. Okay? It doesn't have to be the planner you're using. This is not my one source of truth. My one source of truth is my iCal. But now, does it get downloaded in here? Yes, we'll cover that. But like, my one source of truth, if you took this away, I could still get to the places I need to go with my iCal. Okay. Second thing we want to talk about, lists. Everybody asks me about my lists. There's a couple of kinds of lists for me. Okay, they fall in different categories. There are the list of things I need to get done. So done, what does that mean? Like, there are actions I need to take, there's things I need to buy, there's things I want, there's those kind of lists. Lists of things, lists of to-dos, those kind of lists. That's a little different than some other kind of lists that I'm going to talk about, but that's what these lists are. These are long reference lists, and they can look different for you. They don't have to be all of this. I'm just in the middle of the project with my mom. I have some reference lists, and those are just lists of things that I need to know, like measurements of things and blah, blah, blah. Okay. But those kind of lists, do you keep these kind of lists? If you don't, then you don't need them. That's going to influence what kind of planner you buy, okay? If you need list room, I need list room, and my lists are constantly turning over. It's one of the reasons I went to rings. But if that doesn't apply to you, then, you know, you need to think about that when you're planning. Be it planner newbie, be it planner hopping, be it planner buying, be an OG planner and like the new thing comes out. It's Sterling Ink has beautiful, beautiful things. Hobonichi has beautiful things, but they're all book bound. And they're usually like dated planners. Well, my lists exclude me from buying any of that. Because while they have a place for my one truth, I could put it in my monthlies or my weeklies or my dailies. That's all they provide me. They don't really have a list section that I can overturn. Now, are there ways I can supplement that? Yes, but you have to think about those kind of things. And that has to be extra. And I am a neurospicy person that I do not do well. If you're new here, I had a work planner, and I tried to do a work planner, and I had to reabsorb it because my brain was going off the chain, that it did not like that I had more than one planner. So, you know, think about that. But lists. So there are several kinds of lists you can keep. There are lists of due, lists of buys, those kind of lists. Then there's lists of collections. So for me, that means there's lists of books I own, books on Audible, lists of authors that I buy their stuff and love their books, lists of movies I want to watch. There's lists of social media ideas. There's lists of this is my non-scale victory list because I lost 130 pounds after gastric bypass. So I didn't, you know, like, so there's different kinds of lists. I also have lists of habits, lists of Q2 things, or this is just event things that are coming up that I know I need to deal with this quarter. There's lists of monthly things that happen in the future that I can like look at a glance and say, hey, this is what's happening this month, multiple months down the road or whatever. So think about, are you a list keeper? Do you have lists? What kind of lists? I have a gratitude list that I write just a line a day of something I'm thankful for in order to keep perspective, because there's something good in every day. So I started that this year because my journaling had turned into, well, a bitch list or a bitch fest. So I wanted something that I could say, hey, one line per day for the whole year. I can go back and look, like I might have had about a couple of months, or like this has been a rough quarter, but that was a rough first quarter, but like there was still something good in every day. So does that help you? You know, so think about those things as you start planning, are planning, trying to planner hop, all those things. Just know how you plan. So list, this is, you know, that kind of thing. So what kind of list do you have? What does that look like? Will it fit in what you want? You know, as you're looking into starting planning, planner hopping, whatever we're talking about. Then I suggest you look on how you plan. I'm a monthly, weekly, daily girl. I have tried different iterations of that. I've only having like a monthly and a daily. I've tried a monthly and a weekly and a daily. I've tried just having a month. I've tried just having a week, just having a day. None of those work for me. I have to have a month, a week, and a day. Why? Because I am neurospicy, it helps me to break things down. So when I look at my month, this can get overwhelming for me because I see the whole month. Well, the weekly helps me just take out this section here and turn it into a weekly. But it's still, if I had to look at this, I would still be kind of overwhelmed. So the daily helps me break it down to just what I have to get done today. But my brain is happy knowing that I can look here and say, okay, I have a really busy week, and this helps me prep and say, you know what, this week's full. I can't add anything to my plate. This is it. This is all I can do. So no matter what comes up, oh, can you do that this week? Nope, can't. Look at my week. So know how you plan. Know how your brain works. That may take several iterations if you're new to this. That's why I say you have to have one source of truth for your to-dos, because as you figure that out and you change things over and over and over again until you get to where you're happy, and this has been years, and you've seen me planner hob, so that's not always a constant, because life changes, things changes, you get bored. You just get bored. You still need one source of truth to go back to. So that's why that's always my first rule. Have one source of truth. Because as you figure these other things out, like what kind of planner you are, what kind of list you want to keep, blah, 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 you're going to need a place to go to get your shit done in the meantime. Because all that takes time. And if not, things are going to fall through the crack. And if you got things falling through the crack, then you probably need a planner. And you need a constant in your life. Again, that constant could be on the wall. But the way things work nowadays, it's in my phone, because no matter where I am, I have my constant. Just think of that too. Okay. Trackers. Okay, everybody tracks something. Hold on. Let me have a little jet fuel and wet my whistle. If you're new here, Cafe Bustelo, a little cream, splendid. Okay. Trackers. Do you want to track? Do you track? Some people don't like to track. Some people can't track. Some people suck at tracking. It's fine. You don't have to track anything. There are apps on your phone that can automatically do it for you. There are, there are cycle trackers, there are step trackers, you can basically automate any kind of tracking that you want. Some people just like to see it. If you're not that person, this doesn't count for you. Move along. I'm also going to say this is pretty far down the planner rabbit hole. Like, if you're new, finding a size that you like, finding what kind of planner you are, I think that has to get established before you can track anything. So it can take you a year to figure out what size you like and what kind of planner you are. It can take a couple of years. So don't jump all the way down the rabbit hole where you end up in Wonderland. Okay? Tracking is really far down the path. And if you're new, that's not your need. Okay? Okay. I'm gonna preface that too. Okay? But tracking, if you do want to track, what kind of tracking are you doing? So this is my tracker. I track several things. And I used to not be a tracker. I used to be a, where the hell is my tracker? There it is. I was like, look for the tab, Beverly. So I used to not really be a tracker. I would track certain things like routines, but this I started tracking due to my mental health. So mental health, routines, did I go outside, move, or follow my routines that day, and then my sleep, because this affects everything up here. And here I wasn't paying attention, and I drew a line through my symptoms, not my actual sleep that I actually, anyway. So ignore that part. That's not supposed to be there, but I didn't care enough to go back and white it out. So here's the thing. This helps my mental health because I'm able to see a big picture. last year I ended up having a hysterectomy due to perimenopause and menopause. I was having some really bad symptoms. I had to go on HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. Like, but a couple of months of this, like, I think if I go back, it was probably like, it started in like February, March. I didn't get my hysterectomy until September. I didn't start hormone replacement therapy till like July, because it took me months of this to show my doctor and meds, because I thought I was going crazy, to show, hey, we have a really big problem. So this started out of necessity, and now I keep it because my doctor is changing my meds, and this helps me show, okay, I started meds on this date, this is what happened afterwards. Like, so it does help. There can be purpose in tracking. You don't have to track just to track, okay? Back when I was in perimenopause, and I would track my cycle related to my symptoms. Like, they were really intense, and my cycle was all off, and I was having issues. Like, that's what led to that. So, like, there can be purpose in tracking. People track for purpose. It doesn't have to just be tracking. Okay, so you don't have to just track what, whatever. This was for my mental health. I also track like my steps per day, because you can see, like, I started off the year, I was getting 1, 2, 3, and then now I'm getting 1,000 steps a day. Now I'm getting like average 4, 5, 7, 6. Like, I've been increasing my steps per day, trying to get more and more. And so my average is going up. I want to go back and average these. But anyway, so like that has been my goal, is to increase my steps, daily steps, in order to help me move more. So I was tracking that. This is just check off because I have time blindness. Like, I just realized that next week is the last week in April, last full week. That's crazy pants. We're 4 months into 2025, and it feels like it's been a blur, or one big day. So I track things like that. I track our budgets. I track what books I read, what recipes we ate, movies we watched. In here, I track some personal things. So, like, here I take my symptoms here and my sleep, and I like break it down per month. This is just my personal, so that I can look at it at a glance and say, like, I had 11 days that I got less than 5 hours of sleep. That's pretty significant. So my doctor changed my sleep meds. Like, I wasn't sleeping, and if I don't sleep, that affects the rest of me. I'm not one of those people that can run on 4 hours of sleep. I'm not that person that I can get 4 hours of sleep and get up and conquer the day. I may conquer that day, but the next 2 days, I'm dead in the water. So I have to sleep. My brain has to sleep. I don't do well. I'm not the person. My family can attest to that. But anyway. So do you want to track? Does the book you want to go into help you track? Does it allow you to track? Now, don't get me wrong. You can stick a tracker. You can print one of these off and put it in any bound book. That's my caveat. You can make anything into anything, because there's so much out there. There's this is Peanuts Planner Co. and I bought this, but there are free ones. You don't have to spend a dime, but you can tape this into a book and have it for the entire year if you want to track. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, you have to think about these things as you either start to planner hop, try to buy a new planner, have the FOMO. These are the things I think about, okay? Because this is pretty far down the rabbit hole if you're tracking things, okay? All right. Bound versus rings. Now I'm a person that says start cheap and work your way up. I say that. I don't do that, but I do say that. That is my advice. Do as I say, not as I do, because it will save you time, energy, and money. Okay. I say start with a blank book. There are thousands of them out there. Go to Walmart, get you one, start there. You can start in a $2 composition book just to figure out what you like if you put some energy into it and draw things out. And that's a pretty cheap way to start, okay? If you're into bound books and printing your own inserts, that's well past what this is. This is what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. When you're looking at your planning, think about what you want out of it. If you want completely customizable, making it into anything you want, have everything you want in one book, not have to draw anything, not have to do anything, just print it out and go, or buy it and go, because now there's so many that you can just buy and not have to print a damn thing. And you can make it completely customizable, change your layouts. Sometimes I like to put my front and my back to front. I changed my weeklies mid-month this month. Like, then ring bound is great, because that's why I went from book bound to ring bound, is because it allowed me to do all that. If you are I like one thing and I don't really change, and you're a constant, and that's great. Book bound will probably work for you. You know, but I say figure that out, because book bound comes in like 20,000 iterations. There's vertical, where you're have a timeline. Now they can be untimed, they can be timed, they can be dated, it can be undated. It can look like this, it can look like something else. Like, there's 10,000 iterations. Then they have horizontal. Like, what does that look like? Is it dated? Is it undated? Are there lines? Is it one big grid? Is it, you know, is the grid light? Is the grid dark? Is it monthlies all up front, and then you have your weeklies, and then you have your dailies, like the Hobonichi? Is it Paper Test Designs, I think, has their monthly, weekly, and dailies all in one section, and then each month is separate. Like, do you get 2 pages for a month? Do you get 1 page for a month? Do you get 2 pages for a week? Do you get 1 page for a week? Are your dailies 1 pages? Are they 2 pages? There's so much out there that I would suggest, again, you start in a blank book and work your way up. If you're thinking about planner hopping and you've been doing this, and you're like, okay, I tried this and it's really not working out, but I don't want to spend another, because some of those planners, like a Hobonichi, can run you $70. That's a lot. Sorry. That's a lot to be jumping from planner to planner. I'm just trying to figure out what you want. That's why I say start in a thing, because you can throw out that $2 composition notebook, start completely over, draw a horizontal layout, figure out if you want your months, weeks, and days together. Figure out if you want your months in the front, weeks in the middle, days in the back. If you want your lists at the front or the back of the book. If you want to track, if you want to do this, I suggest drawing it all out. Yes, it's time consuming, but it's cheap. So you're going to have to figure out time or cheap. Probably not both. Okay, so that's my little shtick on, planning hopping, how to plan, a little bit of everything. It really comes down, are you a basic planner that just needs to get shit done? Are you a lister? Or are you a tracker? And there is a whole nother kind of planning called journaling, scripting. Like, that's way far down the rabbit hole. But if you're looking for something just to get shit done, you know, a basic planner from Walmart is a great place to start. That you can just keep a calendar and a weekly or a daily or whatever, and throw a book in the back of it to keep some lists, a little small notebook or something, you know, like that's a great place to start. Because when you go down this rabbit hole, it gets expensive really, really quick. These covers, everybody loves the undyed, but they're expensive. They are freaking expensive. These are not cheap at all, any way, shape, and form. I don't care who you are. They're not cheap. Are they less than like the Louis Vuitton? Sure. But still, not cheap. Even the Moterms, that are fairly reasonable, they run you about $100, are still not cheap for some people. So Amazon has some for like $20. If you want to start in rings, they have these. Where to go? They have these clear ones that you get a 3-pack of 10. You know, so if you want to start in rings, you can start there. And these are actually pretty popular, and you can make them look very pretty. And they, like I said, they're cheap, and you don't have to start out expensive. So, and I've done everything, including turning my book bound into rings before I bought a rings planner. And you can go back a few, you know, like Christmas 23, I think I started with rings. And you can go back and look at those, but like I turned TNs into rings, and I had those, and to see if I liked them, and they were old Chic Sparrows that I wasn't using. So anyway, so people ask me how to start planning, and that is how you start planning. And because this video is 40 minutes long, I'm just going to leave it at that. We're not going to do a plan with me. So I hope that helps somebody. I hope that's useful somewhere. I hope that that answers your question for the people that have messaged me and asked, how do I start planning? How did you get into planning? How do I planner hop? That's pretty much it. Like, have a truth. Have a source of truth. It's one place you can go no matter what you're in. And don't make it that thing, because if you want to change, that takes time, and you're going to need your at least one source of truth to be working all the time. make it forever bound. And then, do you list? Do you have collections? Are there things you want to do? Do you have trackers? Are you a monthly, weekly, daily planner? Figure all that stuff out before you go down a rabbit hole and spend all of your money, because you can spend it very quickly. And then, do you want it completely customizable and want to go into rings? Or are you pretty constant and you'd be okay with book bound? And journaling is a whole thing that I have no knowledge on because I don't do it. So you're going to have to find somebody else for that one. But there is journaling, which they call planners, but it's really just a lot of journaling. And that's okay, but that ain't my shtick. Okay? So, if you have any questions, because this video did not turn into a plan with me because it ran so long, and I got on a tangent. But if you have any questions, put them down below. I hope you have a great week, and until next time, y'all.